The bridge of the Imperial dreadnought Celestial Dominion hummed with the usual efficiency of a vessel that had never known defeat. Admiral Krelix, his 4 eyes scanning the holographic displays, adjusted his ceremonial armor with one of his 6 appendages. The Taraxian Empire had ruled this sector for 3,000 years, and today would be no different. Admiral, his sensors officer chittered, mandibles clicking nervously. We're detecting an unauthorized vessel approaching the trade station. Krelix barely glanced up. Destroy it, sir. It's broadcasting human identification codes. The bridge fell silent. Every officer turned toward the main view screen as it flickered to life, displaying a ship that made Krelix's primary heart skip a beat. It was relatively small, perhaps a quarter the size of his dreadnought, but it moved with a predatory grace that sent instinctive warnings through his ancient evolutionary programming. The ship was angular, brutal in its efficiency, with none of the elegant curves favored by civilized species. Scorch marks and battle damage covered its hull like badges of honor, and its weapon ports, there were far too many weapon ports, bristled with barely contained violence. Why is there a human warship here? Krelix demanded, his voice carrying the authority of an empire that had crushed 100 species. Inside the human vessel Defiant, Lieutenant Danny Chen sat in the pilot's seat, her fingers dancing across controls with practiced ease. Her short black hair was tied back, revealing the burn scar that ran from her temple to her jawline, a souvenir from the Mars colony massacre. They're hailing us, she said calmly, demanding we power down weapons and submit to inspection. Captain Jasper Wright stood behind her, his tall frame rigid with controlled tension. At 28 he was young for a ship captain, but the war had a way of promoting survivors. His gray eyes studied the massive Imperial dreadnought that had moved to block their approach to the civilian station. Tell them we're here to evacuate human colonists from the station, Jasper said. Under the Geneva Conventions and the Terran articles of their cutting transmission, Danny interrupted. Multiple weapon locks. Jasper, they're going hot. Jasper's jaw tightened. The Taraxian Empire had been escorting human colonies to protective custody for 6 months now. The UEN had proof that 70% of those colonists never arrived at their destinations. The Defiant and her crew of 32 were here to make sure the 200 human families on that station didn't become statistics. Open a channel, Jasper ordered. All frequencies. Danny's fingers flew across her console. You're live, Captain. This is Captain Jasper Wright of the United Earth Navy warship Defiant to all vessels in this sector, he began, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's fury and desperation. We are here on a humanitarian mission to extract human civilians. We have no quarrel with the Empire today. Let us pass, and we'll be gone within the hour. Krelix's laughter sounded like grinding metal. Humans do not make demands of the Taraxian Empire. You will surrender your vessel or be destroyed. You are one small ship against an Imperial dreadnought. The mathematics are simple. Jasper nodded slowly. Danny, what's our status? Reactors at 140%, she reported, her voice steady despite the impossible odds. Kinetic barriers fully charged, railguns loaded, missile tubes hot, Shah Fujikawa drive spooled and ready, and the package. Danny's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. Armed and targeted, Jasper opened the channel again. Admiral Krelix, I appreciate the mathematics lesson. Let me give you one in return. Your dreadnought masses approximately 800,000 tons. Very impressive. It's also powered by 4 antimatter reactors that, if breached, would create an explosion visible from 3 star systems away. Is that a threat? Human. It's geometry, Admiral. 3 weeks ago, my ship's stealth drone attached a 50 megaton nuclear device to your aft reactor housing. It's been sitting there ever since, waiting. If you check your sensors, really check them, you'll find it. The detonation code is currently held by Lieutenant Chen. If her heart stops, if this ship is destroyed, or if I give the order. Well, you understand mathematics. The silence that followed was absolute. Krelix frantically gestured to his sensors team, who bent over their consoles with newfound urgency. 30 seconds later, the lead officer looked up, his face the color of deep space. Admiral, there's a device. It's been cloaked with technology we didn't know humans possessed. It's active. If it detonates, I know what happens if it detonates. Krelix roared. He turned back to the view screen, where Jasper waited with the patient calm of someone who had already accepted death. This is an act of war. No, Jasper corrected softly. This is an act of protection. You've been at war with us for months, Admiral. We're just now deciding to fight back. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to move your dreadnought out of our way. We're going to dock with that station, load every human aboard, and leave. In return, I'll give you the disarm code for the device. And if I refuse, then we all die here, and every ship in your fleet learns that humans are perfectly willing to trade one frigate for a dreadnought. How long do you think your empire will last when your own crews refuse to engage human vessels? Dani watched the dreadnought on her screens, her hand steady on the detonator. She could see the heat signatures of the massive ship's weapons charging, saw the escort frigates moving into attack positions, but she also saw something else: a hesitation, a recalculation. Krellick stared at the human captain, understanding dawning in all four eyes. These weren't the weak prey species they'd encountered before. Humans didn't calculate odds of victory, they calculated costs of defiance. Stand down, he ordered his crew. Move us to a holding position. As the Defiant glided toward the station, Dani let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Jasper, we're actually going to pull this off. Jasper watched the dreadnought retreat, knowing this was just one battle in a much longer war. But for today, 200 families would live. For today, the galaxy learned that humanity didn't need to be the strongest species, they just needed to be the craziest.